I think by the time Donald Trump's second term rolled around, there were many people out there that were feeling despondent. People were feeling powerless. Many people just wanted to take a break because living in Trump world is so damn exhausting. And I definitely get all that. But I was also worried that we weren't going to see a strong resistance against this second Trump administration. But over the weekend, it looks like the American people are finally starting to wake up because they showed up by the millions to partake in the hands-off movement that we discussed late last week. And I don't think this could have come at a better time, to be honest with you. I mean, Donald Trump just implemented his insane tariffs. Markets have been falling off a cliff. 401ks and retirement accounts have been taking a beating. So this was a perfect time for Americans to show up and register their discontent against this authoritarian and corrupt administration. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these protests that popped up all over the country in red states, in blue states, in red cities, in blue cities. People are not happy with this current administration. Here is Washington, D.C., where it's estimated that more than 100,000 people showed up at the National Mall. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
Valley billionaire mafia.
I mean, just people are packed in there like you couldn't believe. I am just so glad that we are seeing this type of turnout, especially in Washington, D.C. And although Donald Trump ran away to his Florida golf course, many people were showing up to register their discontent with this president because what he is doing is not popular with the American people. And in a different video, we're going to go over some of the more recent polling where Donald Trump's approval is just falling off of a cliff right now. And it wasn't just average everyday Americans that were showing up. We also had Congress people like Jamie Raskin giving speeches at the National Mall as well.
It gave us the right to speak freely, to publish freely, to worship freely, to assemble freely, and to petition government for a redress of grievances. As Dr. King said, we've got the right to protest for what is right without being arrested, deported, or fired.
He's absolutely right about that. It is just so insane what we are currently seeing with this administration, rounding up innocent people, stripping their due process rights away, and then shipping them off to an El Salvadoran prison. It is absolutely insane that it is the American government that is partaking in these stunts. It is absolutely insane. Here's Eric Swalwell talking at that same rally, telling Trump pretty much to get off his ass.
Because as you stand here right now, we have gone from a Trump slump to a Trump train wreck. We are going into a red recession. Our 401ks are 201ks. Our costs at Walmart and Home Depot and Target, where 4 out of 5 of the things we buy are from overseas, are going up. And where is Donald Trump? He's golfing. So to Donald Trump, I say, get your ass off the golf course and face the people.
That is absolutely right. Donald Trump flew down to Florida to participate in the Live Golf tournament that is backed by the Saudis. He also held a fundraiser where he raised more than $20 million, even though he can't even run for a third term. I mean, it is all just one big grift. Donald Trump sends the markets into chaos and then goes and raises money in the most corrupt way. I mean, it's just all insane. And then when he was done with the tournament and he was flying back to the White House, seemed like he could care less that the markets were in free fall, that the American people were getting hurt. I mean, he is the president of the United States, and he is showing just once again that he does not care about anybody except Donald Trump. And then take a look at the crowds here in New York. It was, I think, over 100,000 people lined Fifth Avenue. Yeah, so I saw one guy saying that Fifth Avenue was taken up with shoulder-to-shoulder people from, I think, 42nd all the way into the 20s, which is just absolutely insane if you've been to New York. That is just a ton of people showing up to say, hey, Donnie boy, we don't like what you're doing here. Here's San Francisco, where one protester likens it to what he saw back in the Vietnam days.
People gathered in San Francisco to speak out against Donald Trump's executive actions in a scene reminiscent of the massive protests during the Vietnam War.
I feel as intense as I did when I was 20.
Jim Sanderson remembers what it was like in 1970 when Americans lost their belief in not just a war, but the nation itself.
That was a it was tearing us apart, and the war and all that. I feel like that again, but now the enemy's from within.
No truer words have ever been spoken. The enemy is definitely from within. Donald Trump is an enemy to this country. He has used delusional thinking. He's used his conspiracy brain to inflict economic warfare on not only Americans, but people around the world. All because what? He wants to feel like a big, bad, tough guy. He wants to leverage any power he can over any person he can. He wants to act like a bully on the world stage. And he is hurting the American people as he does it. Here's people in Minnesota, where it's estimated that more than 14,000 people showed up.
Organizers estimate 14,000 people showed up at the HandsOff protest to make their voice heard on everything from tariffs, Elon Musk's role in the government, and Trump's immigration policies.
I think it's important, especially as a woman and a person of color, to show up and stand for our rights.
I'm extremely frustrated, and we have to be the people to make the change.
This was the largest protest in Minnesota since Trump took office again in January. It featured speeches from U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar and Minnesota Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy.
And I want to make sure that my kids and my grandkids someday look back and say, what did my mom do when we faced that challenge?
I mean, absolutely insane. 14,000 people showing up at the state capitol there in Minnesota. And we are not talking about just blue states or blue cities. Where I was at personally, I'm in a deep red state where between 1,000 and 2,000 people maybe showed up in a very, very deep red city. I mean, it is absolutely insane the amount of support that this hands-off movement got. And we're not just talking about just from Democrats. I saw a lot of Republicans. I know a lot of Republicans turned up to push back against this administration as well. Here we are in Central Texas, where I think more than 5,000 people showed up.
Opponents of President Trump and Elon Musk taking to the grounds of the state capitol. At one point, state troopers estimated the crowd at 7,000.
So many reasons to be here today. It's kind of like pick one and fill in the blank.
Demonstrators critical of the decisions to impose tariffs, deport migrants, and scale back protections for transgender people.
I feel like everyone's rights are being taken away. Not only my rights, not only veterans' rights.
President Trump is not serving the people.
That's also true. Donald Trump is definitely not serving the people. I don't think he's taken 1 second to think about what his actions do to the American people. There's no way in hell he has thought about that even once. Donald Trump is somebody who weaponizes grievance to give himself power, and then when he's in power, he corruptly tries to give himself more power, more money, more fame. It is absolutely disgusting that it is the President of the United States who is engaged in that type of behavior. Here we are with Utah, where thousands of people protested at their state capitol.
Stay focused on the task.
I know that my objection isn't very big, but I need to express it.
Go and find your neighbors.
Today, thousands of Utahns on the steps and lawn of the Capitol.
They cannot tear us apart if we are connected.
Waving signs and raising their voices.
I came out here just to support this movement. Large, but not like this.
State Senator Nate Bluin saying he's never seen anything like this.
This is by far the biggest turnout I can remember. This certainly shows that there's an appetite for something different.
Love to see it. Love to see it, especially in a red state like Utah. And he's definitely right. There is an appetite for something different. Donald Trump is so unpopular right now. And the amount of unpopularity, the levels that he is at is unprecedented for any other president in the United States. No other president has seen such a sharp turnaround in approval rating when it comes to things like the economy, the way he's treating our ally. All these things are very, very unpopular with the American people, and they're finally starting to show up to make their voices heard. Here we are in deep red Idaho, there in Boise.
This is a massive rally in downtown Boise at the Idaho State Capitol. It's the HandsOff rally. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Steve Dent, and this was organized by several different groups as people came out to voice their frustration against the current administration.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things that you could show up and protest for, right? They're going after the Social Security. You've got Elon Musk running around saying there's a whole bunch of fraud and all this nonsense. They're going after Medicaid, where $880 billion is about to be voted on to get out of Medicaid. I mean, there are just so many things that the American people are not happy with right now. And we're not even talking just the American people. With how poorly Donald Trump is treating our allies and our trade relationships all across the world, we even saw hands-off protests in cities across the globe.
Rallies were also held overseas with crowds in Paris, London, and other European capitals.
The policies Trump is following are a threat to the world as we have come to know it and enjoy it as very privileged Westerners.
Today, we really want to send a message of solidarity to our friends and families back in America.
Absolutely love it. Donald Trump is pretty much taking a machete to all of our relationships around the world. We are basically realigning ourselves with Russia. Donald Trump is tearing down trade agreements. He's implementing these tariffs, and now we're seeing markets all across the globe plummeting right now because of these tariffs. I mean, Donald Trump, somebody should invoke the 25th Amendment against this guy. He is living in a fantasy land. He doesn't know what a tariff is, doesn't know how they work. He doesn't know what a trade deficit is. He thinks that it's us subsidizing other countries. And he thinks that everybody else has been taking advantage of America, even though we have been the top dog in trading agreements for decades now. Because of all of the diplomacy and relationship building that we have done over the years, we used to hold that top spot. And now Donald Trump is using this delusion to enact economic warfare against pretty much the entire world right now, except Russia and maybe North Korea. I mean, it is all absolutely insane. We have an administration that's going after your Social Security, your Medicaid. He's shutting down federal agencies that he doesn't like. He's shutting off federal funding he doesn't like. I mean, there are just so many things that this administration is doing that is so unpopular with the American people. I am so happy to see that we are finally starting to see people come together to register their discontent with this authoritarian administration. And these protests are going to have to continue. And I think as the markets get worse, as Donald Trump creates more pain in everyday Americans' lives, these protests are going to get bigger. And we need to remember that these protests can make a difference. Will Donald Trump, bend to the will of a protest? Maybe not. But we could see other people starting to get the inspiration or the motivation or the courage to start standing up to Donald Trump, maybe taking some of their power back that they gave away to Donald Trump. There's a whole bunch of different ways that this could play out. But as I've stated 100 times before, there is nobody coming to save us. It is us, the American people, that are going to have to stand up. We're going to register our discontent. We have to fight back against this authoritarian administration. So keep up the good work, everybody. Continue to get involved with local protests, get involved with local democracy groups, local mutual aid groups. Do whatever you can to push back against the authoritarian regime. We do not want to see this country crumble, and it's events like this that will build the networks and the power and the strength to fight back sufficiently against the Trump administration. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We've got to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against this right-wing media ecosystem that just ferments all of the MAGA brain rot that is plaguing our society today. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. It is free. And if you want to see how Donald Trump could care less that the markets are falling off a cliff and people's retirement accounts are getting hurt, watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.